he asked, yesterday we discussed the Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita and the Advaita Bhava. In Dvaita, there is this devotee and then there is Lord somewhere else. There is a human and there is God. Two. Dvaita means two. Dvaya. Then there is Vishishta Advaita, which is a kind of oneness, but in a separate way, in a different way, in a Vishishta way, in a special way. Oneness is there, is Advaita only, there is no two. Dvaita means two, Advaita means no two. But in a special way, no two exists. That is Vishishta Advaita. And then we talked about Advaita, where there is no concept of two, there is only one that exists. So what is this? Can you explain further, if somebody has asked? Because it's a very important concept. And it's very, very important from the point of view of understanding the continuation of Kathopanishad. After the war, everything was over, Hanuman was asked by Sri Rama, "Who are you?" in front of the whole Sabha. Not that Rama did not know who Hanuman was, not that Hanuman did not know who he was, not that people around did not know who this Hanuman was. Everybody knew. But when a master asks a question, seemingly very obvious question, yet he asks, "Where have you come from? What is your name? Who are your parents? What is your goal of life?" You should not take it at a very physical level. I have come from Chikkabalapur, or I have come from Bangalore, my parents are so and so, my goal of life is to become engineer, a doctor, or a teacher. Much deeper these questions are to be meditated upon. So when Sri Rama, knowing very well who Hanuman was, he fought a war with him, asks Hanuman in front of everyone, "Who are you? Kastvam?" And then Hanuman replies, "I am Hanuman, the son of Anjana, Vayuputra, and I came with you, fought the war, and jumped across." He didn't reply all these things. What did he reply? He says, "Deha buddhya dasoham." When I think I am this body, I am your servant. Jiva buddhya tvadamshakaha. When I believe that I am Jiva, then I am a part of you, amsha of you. Atma buddhya tvamevaham. When I think I am the Atman itself, I am you only, there is no difference. Iti me nischita matihi. This is my confirmed belief, not confused belief, maybe, may not be. Absolutely no, there is no confusion. He says, I am very clear that this is what I am. When I think I am this body, identify myself with the physical body, I consider myself as your servant. So body with indriyas and the mind and chitta and this buddhi and the ahankara, that this is the body, all these together, when they are there, I only am thinking about these, then I simply think that I am your servant. But when I go a little deeper and I feel the presence of the divinity within me, I feel that there is some kind of a Atman or Jivātman inside me. Like yesterday I said, when you see the reflection of the sun in the pot. So when he sees that, he says, I am a part of you, Rama. I am not separate from you. But when I look up and see the sun, then I know that I am the sun. I am neither the pot, nor the water, nor even the reflection. I am the sun alone. So I believe that I am you. There is no doubt about it. So this is a simple formula to remember Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita and Advaita. Dvaitins believe that I am this body with the mind and I have to worship God and reach Vaikuntha, Kailasha, Brahmaloka, wherever. Because that's where the Lord resides and I have to go there. Whereas Vishishta Advaita people there say that not only there, Lord resides everywhere, but also resides in my heart. And therefore I can find God within my heart. How? By constantly meditating upon it, that principle of divinity which is within me. So like the sunshine or this reflection of the sun in the pot. So I keep meditating on the reflection of the sun and I must say to myself, this sun which is within me is also the sun outside, but nevertheless this is a small little reflection and that is the big grand sun. So grand sun is the God and this little reflection is me. That is how they think. But is it the right approach in the sense, if you really think deeply, where is this reflection coming from? It's coming from the big sun there up. Therefore, when you look up after some more time, you realize that there is only one sun. He only is reflecting in all the pots of water. So you are neither the pot and the water, nor even the reflection. You are that very sun. That is the realization that comes to this person. That is advaita, that there are no two. So then you will ask, what about the body and the water in the body? What about the reflection? Don't you believe in all that? I say they are all modifications of me. They are not true me. My truth is that sun. Everything else is to reflect that sun. In this place, there was a pot with water kept, so that sun could reflect in that. To reflect that Paramātman in this Jagat, my body was created, mind was created, so that that reflection of Paramātma is seen. Otherwise, there was no need for me to have all these things. I was one with the sun always. If you look deep down, what sustains this entire earth? Is it the food that grows? Because we eat the food, then space, water. But all this is dependent on whom? One sun only. Sun is the reason why this whole solar system is there. Solar system, which earth is a part of. Without sun, where is solar? Without solar, where is the solar system? And where is earth? So it's sun's gravity and tejas, its light and heat, that keeps life going on earth. That keeps earth in its position. It revolves and goes around sun. All this is because of the gravitational force between sun and earth. We all know that. Otherwise, if there was no, and that gravity is the natural ability of sun and the earth. So the reason behind why the solar system exists is not earth, it is sun. Likewise, the reason behind why this Jagat exists is God alone, Brahman alone. Everything else is reflection, reaction, resound of that same Brahman. It may look like the pot and the water and the little sun in the pot of the water, they may all look like different things. But without that original sun, there would not have been earth, so there was no clay, there was no pot, and there was no water. Nothing was possible without the original sun up there. So even in the very physical sciences point of view, if you see, without the sun in the solar system, earth could not have been there. And if there was no earth, where were you and where was I? Nobody would have existed. So in a physical science also, it is very clear that it's one sun which is the reason why earth exists. And because earth exists, water exists in that, and clay exists, and therefore a pot exists, and therefore the reflection exists. But for all these things, when you go deeper and deeper, you realize the reason is the one sun alone. All believe one God alone is there. As I said the other day, we had somewhere there was a conference about unity of all thinking, that only one God exists. So the conference got over, everybody said, yes, there is only one God, they unanimously agreed. And then they started fighting with each other. So the chief guest asked, what is the reason you are fighting? Just now we agreed that there is only one God. Muslims also said one God, Christians also say there is only one God, Hindus also say there is one God. Then what is the fight about? Now the fight is, which God is that one God? Hindu God is the one God, the Muslim God is the one God, Christian God is the one God. Again confusion begins. Which reflection in the pot is the real reflection? My part's reflection is real, your part's reflection is real, third part's reflection is real. There the fight begins again. So this idea that there are different reflections, therefore there are different suns, is an illusion. That is why I was going on taking so much time to emphasize that Jivātma is a concept which has been brought in order to understand a higher concept of Paramātma. We who are so used to having a body, so used to identifying ourselves with this body, find it so difficult to imagine ourselves without a body. Very difficult. As I say, a small rat will think God is a big rat. A small cat will think God is a big cat. Small elephant will think God is a big elephant. Human thinks God is a big human, superhuman, with supernatural powers, which humans can't do, God can do. Therefore, supernatural human, he is superhuman. But that is not the idea. However, it has been allowed, this idea has been allowed in order for us to develop some understanding. Like a child cannot understand that sun does not rise and set. If you take a child and tell there is nothing like sun rises and sets, sun is steady, earth is the one which is rotating. He said, but earth is not rotating, I am standing here, I can't see earth rotating. What are you talking? But I can see sun rising and setting. He doesn't know that by the time he slept and woke up, the earth had turned 180 degree. But when he wakes up, he says he thinks he's at the same place in the same position. He doesn't feel that he has turned with the earth. So how to explain to that child? So our primary school teachers will tell, listen, this is east direction, that is west direction, and how do you identify? Sun rises in the east and sets in the west. To that extent only this Jivātma concept is. But without understanding this Jivātma concept, you can't understand this Paramātma concept. It's step by step by step. First you learn numbers, then you learn addition, subtraction, division, then you slowly go do equations, then further you learn concepts like calculus, limits, and then you go further and do some abstract mathematics, topology and things like that. See, idea is that you can't just go to topology straight away. You will get confused. You don't understand dimensions, you don't understand coordinates, you don't understand limits. How do you do all these things? So you have to go step by step by step. So Kathopanishad is taking us step by step. Vajashrava believes in advaita. That I have to do rituals and I have to go to heaven and God will bless me with whatever I am offering to God. Their Dvaita Bhava only, that is. And our Nachiketa is coming to Yama, is asking whether this is the truth. He says no. Slowly Yama is teaching him a kind of a Vishishta Advaita, saying that actually the Jivātma is in you. But at the same time, he leaves it open for one's own discrimination. He says, in fact, there is not one but two. One is the original sun and another is the reflection of it. That's why there are two, he says. But truth is that both are the same things. Without the original sun, can there be a reflection? Cannot be. Likewise, without the Paramātman, there cannot be the Jivātma, which is the reflection inside our own Chidakasha. So there is that original Paramātma, which is untouched, unsullied, untainted, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Nirmala Swarupanam we say. But seems like the same sun has been captured inside a pot of water. It's an illusion. But that child is very happy. I have caught hold of sun and I got him inside my pot of water. And child is feeling he has caught hold of the real sun. However, that is how we Jivātmas think. Jivātma in the sense which has been captured in the body and the mind. That is Jivātma. When that Paramātma is conditioned or captured in the space of this body and the mind, it is called Jivātma. So it's a modification. Like a man when gets married is called a husband. Husband was the modification. But is husband not man? He is. But is husband the actual man? No. There was already a man who existed, who got married, therefore he became a husband. If the original man was not there, where was the possibility of husband? But now the behavior of the original man is different from the behavior of the husband. Why? Because husband is supposed to behave himself. When his wife comes, he has to behave like a husband. When in-laws come, he has to behave even better. So like that, he has been conditioned by the idea of behavior as a husband. But if he was not a husband before the marriage, what was he? He was only a man who had his own behavior. But he starts behaving differently now because he has become a husband. That is the idea of Paramātma and Jivātma. Paramātma is like the original man. Jivātma is like the husband because he is now into a family life, he is called a husband. Tomorrow if he is going to have children, he will be called a father. And day after if he is going to have grandchildren, the same man will be called grandfather. Why? Because the same man has been modified as husband, father and grandfather. But the original person is who? The man. All these are conditioning of the man under certain conditioning means under certain conditions. He behaves in a certain way. That is what is called conditioning. So same Paramātma, when it is assumed by us to be captured in our heart, like the reflection of the sun which has been captured in the pot, like the man who has been captured inside a husband, then it is called Jivātma. And very important concept, this is one of the core concepts of Vedanta. So like that if you see, the body undergoes changes, the Jivātma inside does not undergo any change. Bulbs you can change, electricity does not undergo any change. light, when passes through colored glasses, looks like the light has changed. But actually what has happened? Light has not changed. Light is pure, uncolored. Because it has passed through a red, green, blue, yellow, orange glass, so it looks like the light has changed. See, this is the example where electricity passing through different colored bulbs looks like different colors. Can we say electricity has become blue in this and yellow in that and green in the one and the red in another? We cannot say that, but it appears it has become like that. When electricity went to this bulb, it became blue. So electricity is a blue electricity, somebody will say. I got a special electricity from electricity board today, it's a blue electricity or red electricity. That is imagination. Likewise, light, when it passes through colored glass, light having no color suddenly appears to form colors. So one side light is coming as red, next pane light is coming as green, next pane light is coming as yellow. This is the idea of conditioning. When that pure light passes through a condition, it gets conditioned. Upadhi is the Sanskrit. Aupadhika, this is called. It gets conditioned to look different than what it originally is. This is the idea of Jivātma. The Paramātma is like the water, the body and the mind that we possess. Somebody has pure mind, somebody is very agitated mind, somebody is very unkind, somebody is very compassionate. Because of that, the Paramātma appears to become a Jivātma who is very kind, Jivātma who is very compassionate, Jivātma who is very rude, Jivātma who is very unkind, unruly. Similarly, I said like electrical gadgets are there. Same thing passes through a refrigerator, output is heat or cold. Same thing passes through a washing machine, output is clean or dirty. Same thing passes through any other equipment, a phone or whatever. Same electricity, when it passes, it appears as different things. It does different roles. Likewise, the same Paramātma, when it manifests through the person, is called Jivātma. So all these bodies and names and forms are all illusions. Illusions means it's an imagination that God has become brown color, green color, or like God has become a Negro, God has become a Caucasian, God has become a Asian, God has become an American, a European. All these are our concepts of God. The Paramātma has not changed. The skin and the body in which the Paramātma is manifesting has changed. Therefore, a bigger pot does not have a bigger sun, a smaller pot does not have a smaller sun in it. Sun is same, but our differences are external, and that is the concept of Jivātma. You get that point? Now, how to attain that higher idea that we are not the Jivātma, we are actually Paramātma only? You have to get out of this conditioning. It means what? Open the bottle, pour the water and see which color it is. And then you know, yes. So you have to go deeper inside, investigate, find out the truth for yourself. That is what is Brahman Anveshana Mana. The one who investigates into Brahman slowly, gradually gets closer and closer and closer. It's also called Ekatmya Pratyaya Sara, taking that one thought and going back all the way to trace the origin. Origin of this whole thing is the pure clear water. The bottles made them look colorful. Otherwise the water is not colorful. But if you simply see, you can't know. When you drink, you'll know everything tastes the same. Therefore, this mind is the one which colors the Paramātma. Light passes through the colored glass, it becomes colored. Electricity passes through colored bulbs, it produces colors. Water stored in different colored bottles looks different colored. Likewise, Paramātma interacting with the body and mind complex is called Jivātma. And apparently, each Jivātma feels like a different from other persons. Some Jivātmas are pure-hearted, some Jivātmas are harsh, some Jivātmas are spiritual, some are very materialistic and worldly. Actually, Jivātma is not doing that. Actually, the mind and body which has been superimposed on that, like the colored glass through which the light should pass, Paramātma must pass through this mind and body, and that passing of Paramātma through mind and body and getting colored is the concept of Jivātma. Therefore, in the first shloka, he says, two exist within the same space. Which are the two? The original and the reflection. The light and the shadow, he says. The light and the shadow. Chaya, tapa. Atapa means the light, chaya means the shadow. But shadow not be without a light. Only light can cause a shadow. But light can be without shadow. Shadow cannot be cast without light. But light can be light without even a shadow. Husband cannot be there without a man, but man can be there without being a husband. Likewise, Paramātma can be there without the Jivātma. Jivātma cannot be there without the Paramātman. So sit down and write down in your notebooks and sit and meditate on this thought, that how Paramātma has become Jivātma due to the interaction with the mind and the body. And munde matir bhinna, different minds think differently, they have different habits, likes, dislikes, different preferences. Somebody likes upma, somebody doesn't like it, somebody likes rice, somebody hates rice. All these kind of likes and dislikes are individual minds. Why these likes and dislikes have come over a period of time? We have lived in certain way. Like somebody born in South India wants South Indian food. Somebody born in North India likes North Indian food. European likes European food. Likewise, everybody has developed their own tastes because of long association with certain place, time and situations. Desha, kala, paristhiti is the upadhi. In that, all of us have developed our own likes, dislikes and habits. But can these habits be changed? Yes, they can be changed. Over a period of time, they all can be changed. With the right company, right understanding, right approach, right education, right guidance and advice and right efforts, all habits can be changed. Because these habits were not born with us, they all were acquired over a period of time. All these habits can be changed. We can change the habit of thinking it is red, green, blue water by investigating and finding the truth, and thereby Jivātma only becomes Paramātma. That is why Hanuman is very smart. He replies, when I think I am just the body, I am a servant. When I think I am the Jivātma, I am a part of you because I am a reflection of you. I am a modified version of you. When I believe I am the Atma, I and you are one and the same. There are no two, there is no two, and there is no confusion there to me. Only till there, this confusion exists. So this is the concept of Advaita, Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita. One person asks, why do we feel different vibrations with different places? Somewhere we feel it's a good vibration, somewhere we feel it's a bad vibration. The vibrations are nothing but energy. All space is energy, we found out yesterday. E is equal to mc square. Convert all the matter, they all become energy. Now these energies can be strong energies, weak energies, weak nuclear force, strong nuclear force, electromagnetic force, gravitational force, different kinds. So all these thoughts that we generate are energies only. Now these energies occupy some area or the other. When our mind passes by that area where such energies are stored, our mind is made of what? Thoughts. So these thoughts are affected by those thoughts which are left behind in that place. Just now 4 thieves got together and they stole something and then they thought of the loot and left. They have left, their energy is still lingering over there. So when we pass by that space, that energy affects us. Like Rama, Lakshmana, Sita were passing by Dandakaranya. And Rama was walking in front, Sita in the middle and Lakshmana behind. As they entered Dandakaranya, Lakshmana started scolding Rama. Because of you, we have come into this forest. Look at Mother Sita's feet. It is all hurt, bruised, bleeding. Everybody is suffering. What is this idea of yours to take up the Vanvasa? They told you, Kaikai came and told, I am taking back my promise. Please come back to the palace. You did not agree. All these kinds of things, Lakshmana is scolding Rama. And then Sita is confused because she is the first to hear because Lakshmana is right behind her. And she touches Rama and tells, what should I do? What is this going on behind me? And Rama simply, Summa iru, keep quiet, he says, and then keeps walking. And after they cross the Dandakaranya and come out, suddenly Lakshmana realizes what was he blabbering and falls at Rama's feet and apologizes. Again Sita is confused, what has happened? Then Rama explains, that time the forest was infested with demons and devils who don't like divinity, who are very engrossed in their tamasic and rajasic thoughts. So when Lakshmana was passing that area, Lakshmana's mind was still very agitated from this whole incident of Vanavasa. And when you have a negativity in the mind, it becomes even more negative. So when he passed through a negative environment, it became even more negative for him. Whereas Rama is never controlled by the mind. He is always Shuddha Chaitanyam. He is always abiding in the Atman, that idea that I am Brahman, I am Paramātman and not the body and the mind. Lakshmana did not have that thinking. Therefore, Lakshmana represents the mind in Ramayana, Rama represents the Atman and Sita represents the Prakriti. Jagat, Jiva, Ishvara. That concept is represented by Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, who are always together. Who are always together. So that is the idea. The Prakriti has no swabhava of its own. The Manas has a swabhava. And Manas swabhava is it keeps thinking all the time, negative or positive. And Atman has again untouched. But untouched, untainted like the space. So Rama is untouched by what's happening. Lakshmana is agitated because he associates with happenings. And Sita has no say of her own. She just follows wherever if Atma is not there, can body exist? Cannot. Can mind exist? Cannot. So these two are dependent on Rama's existence. Rama is not dependent on these two. He was going alone in the forest. These two people latched on to him. I will also come like that. And then the problem started. If Atman alone was roaming around in the forest, there wouldn't have been any attack or whatever, kidnapping, and nothing would have happened. But because Atman was accompanied by the mind and the body, all the confusion of Ramayana happened. So we are like that. Jivātma is the confusion of Paramātma, which is modified in the by mind and the body. So red bulb, red water, all this is Jivātma. So this boy's question was, why do I feel that bad or good? Is it figment of my imagination? Truth is that everything is figment of imagination only. I am good is imagination, I am bad is imagination, I am worldly is imagination, I am spiritual is imagination from the point of view of Brahman. From Brahman's point of view, everything is imagination. The water in the bottle is not red or green or blue. It's an imagination. So good and bad in the society is imagination. But that is when you are established in the Rama Tattva. But when you are established in the Lakshmana Tattva, all this feels real. And then you suffer. So if you want to rise above the duality, then you have to attain the Rama Tattva, Atma Rama. That is the idea. That is why whenever they sing bhajans, Andara Rama, Bahara Rama, Ghata Vasi Rama. It's what should I do? It simply catapults me into that idea of oneness. So that is why I love that bhajan's lyrics, because Andara Rama, Bahara Rama, Ghata Vasi Rama. In every pot, Ghata, there is Rama only. This Rama is not different from that Rama. In everyone, the same Rama as Atma Rama stays. That is the concept. But Lakshmana is different in every pot. That is the problem. So, this is actually an imagination. Good and bad is imagination. At the highest level, it is imagination. But when you have not reached the highest level, then you have to deal with the world. That is why advaita darshanam jnanam. Only you will know the truth when you become the truth. There is no other way of knowing the truth. That is true meditation, when the mind is not supplied any name, that is word or form, any object. That pure state of mind without any thoughts is the Brahma Swarupa. So mind only called Amani Bhava, no mind. No mind means that is there but it is not there because it is not thinking. Mind comes into existence when it starts thinking. Ritam pibantau sukrutasya loke. We heard this yesterday. That this inevitable reaction or the karma phala is ritam. Pibantau is enjoyed by the two. Sukrutasya loke, whatever is done in this world, the action or results of it is inevitable and it is enjoyed by two. And both of them have entered the secret cave, the space within one's heart. Parame parardhe, ultimate abode, they have entered and hiding there. And how are they? Chaya tapau. They are like shadow and the light. They are like the object and the reflection. It means one is dependent on the other. That is the idea. And very different from each other. The understanding of Jiva is captured, bound, finite. The idea of Paramātma is infinite, unbound, free. So they are two different from each other. They are opposite to each other. Yet they live together. In where? In the space within the heart. That is the Chidakasha, in your awareness space. There is a physical space, action space, mental space, thinking space, and there is the awareness space. In the awareness space, these two reside. You can only know them by awareness, not by thinking, not by acting. So these two people are hiding there and everybody tells about them. Brahmavidas also tell that. Panchagni people also tell that. Trinachiketa people also tell that these two exist within. They seem to enjoy the fruits of all the actions, the fruits that are inevitable. So they are enjoying this, that's what they are saying. And we explained yesterday that one is Jivātman like the shadow, another is Paramātman like the object or the light. And they both seem to enjoy the fruits of the actions at the end of it. That is an imagination. We'll come to know more about it. The next shloka. Ya seturi jananam aksharam brahma yat param abhayam titirshitaam param nachiketam shakemahi. Yes, so he says, this is like a conclusion on whatever has happened so far. So Yama is telling Nachiketa, Nachiketam shakemahim. Shakemahim means we have understood. We have been able to know about what Nachiketa Agni, the Agni that has to be performed, which is like the Setuhu, like the bridge. For whom Jananam, the people who perform sacrifices, bridge towards what? Bridge which takes you where? It takes you to Abhayam, Titirshataam Param. Abhayam means the fearlessness. It takes you to fearlessness. Titirshataam, the shore. Even at the shore, it takes you to the shore and to the fearlessness. What does that mean? Also, it says that we have also learned the other aspect of Aksharam Brahma Yat Param, that which is ultimate Akshara, indestructible Brahman. About that also we have read. So two things we have learned so far. One is perform Nachiketa Agni and go to the shores of fearlessness. In the sense, all the fears of I am going to die, I am going to be poor, I am going to be suffering, I am going to be old, all these fears are destroyed when you perform Nachiketa Agni and go where? All the way to that Virata level of your existence, beyond the Swarga Lokas. You go there. That is one thing. Other thing we also have learnt is Aksharam Param Brahman. For both we have learnt how to use various things. Nachiketa Agni takes you to the highest of the heavens or beyond heavens, and Om as the Aksharam, Parabrahma, takes you to the understanding of the ultimate formless reality. Now we have learned both of these things is what Yama is concluding, that we have studied so far, we have learned these two things, and also he introduces the concept that who enjoys the result of whatever we do, either we perform Nachiketa Agni or we do the meditation on the Akshara Parabrahma, who enjoys these two? He says these two people enjoy, who are hiding inside the heart. And one of them is the Jivātma, which is the modified, conditioned Paramātma, and other than that is Paramātma itself. In fact, there are no two, there is only one. But it is like, appears to be two, like the object and its reflection. If you go inside a room and there is a mirror, and you suddenly see one more reflection in the mirror. Now if you eat, the reflection also eats. So how many are eating? Only one is eating, but appears as two are eating. So that is the idea of Jivātma, Paramātma. That appears like both of them are experiencing the results of all the actions. In the sense, whatever is being done by the body and mind, they both are experiencing it. Truth is that both of them don't eat anything. They appear to eat. This is our imagination. When we put Naivedyam in front of Krishna's idol, you think Krishna is eating all that Naivedyam? No, we believe that it's been offered, so he'll be eating. He'll enjoy this. So physically nothing is happening over there. But it is a concept that we have developed to believe that Krishna would enjoy if we offer. Like that, all the actions that we do, we believe that the God who's sitting inside is enjoying all these offerings of our actions through mind and body. So this is the idea, but actually no, not two people are there, only one is there. And even if we imagine one is eating, the other is the reflection which seems to be eating. But truth is that only one is there inside, one only is experiencing or witnessing all that which is being done.